When we study English literature today, the tools we use to break down a story, Marxism to look at class dynamics, post-colonial theory to talk about empires, or Freudian psychology to analyze a character's motives, all stem from one specific part of the world, the West. For students outside Europe and North America, applying these foreign frameworks to every poem and novel can feel disorienting. English is a deeply global language. Millions across the world have reshaped it, writing their own stories in it, and even dreaming in it. Yet the academic study of those texts usually leaves local philosophical traditions at the door. Analyzing global literature without drawing on the deep philosophies of the reader's own culture creates an incomplete picture. You can still navigate the text, but you find yourself working twice as hard to extract its meaning. This is where Indian knowledge systems, or IKS, offer a highly structured alternative. These traditions are often misunderstood as simple myths or religious folklore. In reality, they offer formal scientific frameworks for textual analysis. Integrating Indian ideas into English studies does not require throwing away Western concepts or ignoring European philosophers. The goal is bringing both sides together to build a much broader, more capable analytical toolkit. Students bring their entire cultural identity into the literary process by using native philosophical tools at the desk, studying English through a lens they own. Applying ancient Indian logic to classic English literature provides a specific methodology to re-examine the texts we encounter in the modern classroom. The Indian logic system Nyaya is a strict method for finding truth. Step 1, pratyaksha, direct perception, catalogs exactly what is physically on the page. Step 2, anumana, logical inference, connects those literal points to deduce deeper hidden messages. Nyaya demonstrates that the tools for rigorous, scientific literary criticism have existed in India for thousands of years, entirely independent of the European academic tradition. Western literary analysis frequently treats nature as a pretty backdrop or a wild force for humans to conquer. The ancient Tamil concept of Tinai offers a vastly different approach. Tinai establishes an unbreakable psychological link between geography and human feeling. A specific physical landscape dictates a specific emotion. A harsh coastline embodies deep grief and separation, while a high, secretive mountain range represents the thrill of hidden romance. We can test this ancient framework directly on a cornerstone of British literature, like Thomas Hardy's novel The Return of the Native. The story takes place on Egdon Heath, a dark, lonely expanse of land. When viewed through the lens of Tinai, the landscape itself drives the narrative, mapping to the character's isolation and internal turbulence. The tie between a physical environment and a character's psychological state is a universal storytelling mechanism, and the Tinai system provides the exact vocabulary to decode it. This cross-cultural application extends to character dynamics. Instead of analyzing classic female characters purely as victims trapped in unfair systems, we can read them through the Indian concept of Shakti, the unstoppable, creative, divine feminine energy of the universe. The lens of Shakti analyzes Lady Macbeth's fierce energy and ambition as a powerful force of nature, moving the entire story forward. Western masters actually sought out these Indian frameworks themselves. When T.S. Eliot needed a way to resolve the massive despair of a post-World War I society in his masterpiece The Wasteland, he bypassed Western philosophy and ended the poem with the Sanskrit word for peace, drawn straight from the Upanishads. Both Hamlet and Arjuna suddenly froze when faced with the crushing weight of their duty, their dharma. A prince in a cold Danish castle and an archer on an Indian battlefield faced the same soul-deep struggle. The greatest writers, regardless of their geography, explore the exact same human struggles regarding existence, duty, and the search for peace. Changing how we read these texts requires changing how we teach them. The traditional classroom, built around students sitting in silent rows, passively memorizing facts, is a remnant of a colonial system designed to produce obedience. The Indian aesthetic concept of rasa, which translates to flavor or essence, demands a different approach. Rasa dictates that a text's emotional core must be actively felt, tasted, and fiercely debated in the classroom. Treating literature as an active emotional experience rather than a strict vocabulary test, dismantles those old passive hierarchies. It forces students to speak up and become active, independent thinkers. Translation bridges the gap between different cultures by explaining an entire worldview to those who have never experienced it. Combining the canonical literature of the West with the deep, logical frameworks of India creates readers who are more sensitive, empowered, and open-minded. Human knowledge operates as a vast river, gaining strength as the streams of Indian wisdom converge with the traditions of the West.